All right, thank you for joining us, Sarah, this afternoon to talk about careers in languages. So you're going to start just, could you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, yes, I'm Sarah, and I'm a special educational needs coordinator in a primary school, and I'm also a co-founder at GoLingo.
Brilliant. What's GoLingo?
So GoLingo is a new venture, and it is a language learning app to develop confidence with speaking in obviously different languages.
Fantastic. What languages do you deal with at GoLingo?
So currently we've got English, French, German, Spanish, and we've just added Italian.
Wow, brilliant. What did you study at university then?
So at university, I did a geology degree, which has got absolutely nothing to do with anything I do now. But it was brilliant. I loved it.
And so what led you into GoLingo then? Where did the idea come from?
So it was a lockdown idea, as all these brilliant ideas are at the moment. So because I work in special educational needs, I'm always working out different ways for children to show their work and communicate and things like that. And I've also got a colleague who works with me at GoLingo who's been trying to learn languages for 12 years and he feels he's still not fluent. And so we came up with this idea where you could practice speaking. And it started off as a bit of a, like these always do, is a bit of a conversation over a cup of coffee or a glass of wine and a bright idea. And then we spoke to a third colleague who is now the third founder at GoLingo, who works in tech and has done this before and understands how to build platforms and things. And we went for it. So that is now where we all are.
Okay, so could you describe what a typical day in your job looks like? And we go for the GoLingo job rather than the school's job.
Yeah. So obviously doing two jobs is a real challenge. But currently at the moment, I'm looking at the curriculum, and we're trying to build a curriculum through language, through conversation, which I think is quite new and unique. So I work with another colleague on the curriculum, and then we work very closely with the tech side, because the tech side is really important to make sure it delivers this language in a specific way. And at the beginning of the app, it's very much geared for beginner learners, so it's highly structured. And then as the learners move through, then we use lots of artificial intelligence, and so those conversations will be a little bit more ad hoc. So I work on the curriculum side, I work at the marketing side, and I also liaise really closely with the tech. Every day is different. Some things work really brilliantly. We've had loads of trouble with a microphone. We've fixed it. There's lots and lots of testing that goes on. They call me like the problem customer. So we test the app all the time, and it changes quite a lot. And that testing is really important because the user experience has got to be really positive, because if something doesn't work, you're not going to use it again. So we tend to, we all work remotely at the moment, and we communicate probably daily. We have all this fancy stuff that means you're contactable all the time, which is really great in loads of ways, but then in other ways you're like, oh, but I'm in another job at the minute. Or so, you know, there's accessibility, and then there's too accessible, isn't there? But it's really good. It's really exciting. It's completely out of my comfort zone. It's something it's so far removed from, you know, my day job of working in a school. So, you know, I've learned loads, and I've also learned how fantastic tech can be, and it's mind-blowing what you can do now.
Yeah, definitely. So you've told us that you've learned an awful lot, and languages is not something that that is necessarily your background. So could you tell us a little bit about why you decided to go down this path and what your experience of language learning has been?
Yeah, I feel a bit of a fraud in the group because I am the non-language speaker in the group. So obviously, you know, I went to school and I did languages at school, and I did a lot of languages at school. I was exposed to French, German, Spanish and Latin at school, and I think I can't remember any of it. It's really bad. It's really, really bad. But I think because they did quite a lot, and I think teaching has come a long way as well now from when I was at school. And I wished I'd done a little bit more, and I'd kind of advise your pupils stick with it, because the opportunities that language really open for you are huge. You know, the world is becoming much smaller, and you know, travel is so much more accessible. And I suppose I'm trying to learn languages really quick, and they're not easy, and they're not easy as you're older. You know, the older you get, the harder it is to learn stuff. So, you know, when you are at school, you can just pick things up. You're like sponges. Even at sort of 15, 16, 17, 18, you can just pick stuff up. You've just got your brain capacity. It's so much more malleable, and it can just take stuff in. So yeah, no, don't speak languages. Trying to learn German desperately. That's what I've been testing on the app. So I've been picking up some key phrases and key words, and it's been really good. But yes, it's not a regret, because of course I have had lots of wonderful opportunities in my life, and I've been really lucky. I did an amazing degree, but I think, you know, looking back, I wished I'd done one language really well rather than dipping into all these different ones. It's not my natural ability either.
No, I think probably some of our students might share your feeling there, that it doesn't come naturally to them, and perhaps that they get turned off by it then and think that it's not going to be useful for my future. Could you perhaps respond to that? The idea that actually I don't need to learn a language, what's the point?
Yeah, I can really relate to that, but you know, I'm trying really hard now to sort of increase my knowledge in order to be more impactful in what I'm doing at the minute with my sort of little Golingo thing that's going on. And I suppose you at school now, they tend to just choose one language, don't you? So you can really sort of, you know, learn it, and it's really logical. And I think that's what I wasn't taught at school. It's really German is so logical, and the rules stay the same. It's, in some ways, I think it's easier than learning English, because it's, and I love the fact that German, they just stick words together, and you get really overwhelmed by this enormous word, but it absolutely makes sense when you break it down. And I would really encourage you students to stick with a language, because it's such a great skill. It gives you so many opportunities. You know, you can travel further, you know, you can meet more people, you know. And we're working with a German lady at the minute, and basically she just teaches sort of table conversation for people who've met someone who's German, and it's maybe a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and they're just trying to, you know, have those conversations when meeting other family members. So I mean, she's amazing. It was so much fun talking to her. Yeah, but yeah, stick with it, guys.
Excellent. Okay, so what is the hardest thing that you've had to do in your job so far?
Learn German, juggle 2 jobs and a family, and give everybody everything that they need. That's been, you know, that's been busy. I like busy. What do they say? Give a busy lady a job and she'll, you know, just keep going with it. So that's been challenging. I think the hardest thing for me is, in the Golingo world, is understanding how the tech and how the curriculum are going to sort of join together, and that's been a real learning curve. We've done lots of trial and error, and currently we've reached out now, and we're trying to get specialists involved, because we've got to a point where, you know, myself and my colleague, we're starting to creak because we haven't got that fantastic language learning knowledge. You know, we're not language teachers, so we've reached out. So you can always get to a certain point yourself, and then if you've not got those skills, it's always good to ask for help. And I think that's always good advice, isn't it? If you're not sure, ask.
Definitely, yeah. And what's the coolest thing that you've had to do or been able to do in your job?
And I do like going to like the team meetings, because they're always a bit corporate, and I'm not from the corporate world. I'm from, you know, my background is, you know, early years primary school teaching, where it's paint and glue and snot. And so when we do the sort of Golingo meetings, it always feels like I'm a bit grown up, and I go into Manchester and, you know, I just feel a bit cool. I suppose that's the best bit. And it's lunch out. Who doesn't love a lunch out?
Lovely. Okay, well, this question is really pertinent to you at the start of your business. Where do you see you and your business in 10 years' time?
Well, it's a great question, isn't it? Because we have a 10-year plan, and the 10-year plan is to expand this into global languages. So it will be huge. We'd like to be a competitor of Duolingo. We'd like to offer a very bespoke service to different areas and offer products. So perhaps a school product, maybe a business product. We'd like to offer a sign language product. There are lots of things we'd like to do, and that would be amazing. But I suppose in 10 years, that's how I would make my living, through Golingo, and that would be my job. And I like managing people, and I like to be, you know, in it, but overseeing it. And I think that's what would be amazing. Of course, we'd like to have global domination in the app market of language learning. And whereas, you know, you teachers say download Duolingo and, you know, practice your vocab, the word would be download Golingo, practice your conversation.
Brilliant. So how do you differ from Duolingo then?
So we are completely conversationally based. It's all talking. So there are opportunities to write and speak, and there are other things that you can do. So we send you off to, we have a language school in the app. So if you want to learn more, there are opportunities for you to learn more. It is a little bit, it's highly structured, it can be self-directed, but the more you go through it, the more creative it will become. Yeah.
Great. And when can you see it?
On that note, because I've used Duolingo, and it's amazing that I think I can say like really random things like the red chicken or something, and I hope that Golingo is really useful. It teaches you stuff that you will use in the real world in context.
Fabulous. And when will it be ready? When can we start using it?
Well, that's $1 million question. Very, very soon. We've come to a point where we're almost ready to release. So that will be amazing. Yeah, no, yeah. No, the pressure's on now.
One final question for you then this afternoon, Sarah. If you could sum up language learning in 5 words exactly, what would they be?
Well, I'm going to plug my Golingo platform, and I will say use Golingo, speak, explore, learn.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon.
Oh, thanks for inviting me. It was really nice to talk to you.